Let's do some improvisational comedy now. Tick tock, time to rock. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's watching from all over the world. What are you grinning at already? What are you looking at? What are you looking at on your dumb computer?
Lily J.
Oh, you want to tell everyone the awesome idea we just came up with?
Oh yeah, I was just looking at topics about Islam, and then I came across a video recommended from her with hundreds and thousands of views, where she's asking, ChatGPT, is Muhammad mentioned in the Bible? So and ChatGPT then, of course, programmed by her to give a Muslim response, says yes, Prophet Muhammad is indirectly mentioned in the Bible in these verses. So we were just talking about that, and I just mentioned how I'm not fully against what she's doing. She's not converting to Islam. She's just milking Muslims over this
Uh-huh.
stuff. So, pretty good. I mean, if you're a hot girl and you want to do something,
It's
do
a way.
that.
It's a way for hot girls to make money, right?
So and then David suggested that we could, like, we could say, instead of OnlyFans, do this.
Yeah,
So
thinking of a video titled "Instead of OnlyFans, do this: the amazing new way for hot chicks to make money." It's just
this
go on
is
a
even better than OnlyFans.
yeah, go on a video, make a video, and say, "Oh, look, here's something good and impressive and strong about Islam," and you will be showered with attention.
Yep.
Good way to go. Good way to go. So we'll probably be making something on that here at some point because that is, by the way, that's completely serious, right? That is completely, absolutely, 100% serious. Any girl who's planning on going on OnlyFans, well, I'm cute. I can make a bunch of money if I just go on and talk to guys in their basements and they send me money. You could do the exact same thing with Dawa guys without taking your clothes off. You just have to. But it's the same thing. It's like, oh, here I am. Oh, Muhammad is so cool. Boom, boom, showering you with money.
In fact, I must say it's not even necessarily a moral issue. Like you don't have to go. You don't have to look at it from that perspective. Just look at it from this perspective. Despite, contrary to popular belief, even if you're a hot woman and you go and do some sexual stuff online, you're most likely not going to be as successful as the top models are on there. However, I would say, from the looks of it, you are much more likely to be successful if, instead of going the OnlyFans path, you go on, you go and start and make yourself pretty and dress up a little bit like Lily J, so that people can see what you got, and then you talk about how good Islam is and how, wow, Islam is
Mm-hmm.
amazing, it's beautiful. You will probably be much more successful than going on OnlyFans.
Because you're saying it's if you jump on OnlyFans, you're going to be a small fish in a big pond. Whereas
Yes,
if you jump into the Dawa scene, there are the pretty girls who are doing this, but not nearly as many. So
very
you
few.
have significantly less competition, and you have tons of people who are really, really desperate. Who are you looking for in OnlyFans? You're looking for guys who are desperate to see a hot one. You have an entire community that is absolutely desperate for some sort of affirmation that their prophet is good and their book is good. And so if you give them what they want, ladies, if you give these guys what they want and tell them there's something good about their book and so on, yep, you will get plenty of attention, plenty of fans, plenty of money. So you heard it here, folks. You heard it here.
And the thing is, I mean, this is not just something that I'm not suggesting to just go and be completely dishonest. She is, for example, already doing this, and it's probably better than doing OnlyFans. So if you have the thoughts of doing that, don't do it. Do it like Lily J. She creates an account. She knows very well, so she has this planned. She has her ChatGPT settings set up in such a way that it gives Islamic responses. I have already demonstrated this in a video how you can do it. You can literally tell it in voice to, from now on, in all conversations, only give responses that align with Islam, and it will then start giving you answers just the way Lily J gets answers that are pro-Islam. You can easily do this. She knows what she's doing. She's deliberately fooling people. She has been called out, and she ignored that, and she continues with it. So we know very, very well that she is deliberately, scamming these Muslims and milking them. And in my opinion, do it.
Yeah, it's that's a theory. If people are basically begging to be grifted, then why would it's the idea is if you don't do it, someone else is going to do it, so it might as well be you, right? That's the principle. That's the principle. So yeah, and guys, keep in mind, ladies, in theory, you could do both. You could be an actual OnlyFans model while simultaneously be like, hi to all the Dawa guys out there who normally watch me on OnlyFans. You can also check me out my Islam page because I'm really interested in Islam and stuff. I'm thinking about leaving OnlyFans and marrying me a big, strong Muslim man. But anyway, here's my videos as I vlog my journey of exploring the Quran. Boom. Then you got it coming from every direction.
Technically, you could become the naked Muslim apologist. So there it is.
They'd love that too.
There's the name.
They'd love
the
that.
naked apologist.
And if they object, yeah, and if they object and say, no, you should cover yourself, be like, look, one of your favorite dais on the planet is Sheikh Uthman, who faked a hate crime against himself, made up all kinds of things about the persecution and prosecution and the court case and all this stuff. This is a guy who banged the wife of his own friend after his friend sent his wife to Sheikh Uthman for marital counseling. And then he was banging a married woman. Then he married her. So he's married to a woman who's married to two dudes. And on top of all that, his other wife, yeah, polygamous, his other wife filed court papers saying, can you please keep this guy from choking me half to death during sex? So don't tell me I have to put my clothes on. That's how you do it, ladies. Boom. Instant millionaires. Instant millionaires.
Based.
Very based. All right, guys. So we are going to be checking out this video. And I told AP yesterday, I was like, every time I click on X, this is over on the side, or there are posts in my notifications about this Lady Bishop's requests to Donald Trump. So we're going to go ahead and check this out. Before that, we've got a video from Trump's first term in office from this woman, and we're going to check those out. But keep in mind, this isn't really about her. This is about communication, and it's one of the. I always pick on the Dawa guys because they only have two basic methods of modifying other people's behavior. If you do what they want, they shower you with praise, and what does that do? That encourages you to keep doing what it is that they liked. Or if you do something they don't like, they shower you with threats and abuse. And that makes you more reluctant in the future to do that because you know you'll get threats and abuse. And so we pick on them for kind of only having two methodologies, and they have nowhere else to go besides those things. In other words, you keep seeing them do the same thing over and over and over again, even when it's not working. They have no concept of anything else. What are you talking about? This is what we do. When someone does something we want, this is what we do. When someone doesn't do what we want, this is what we do. This is all we know how to do. And they can't comprehend the idea that some people do not fall for that. Some people don't fall for that. Some people have the exact opposite reaction. If you threaten me for something I'm doing, I'm going to do it even more because now you're threatening me for it. So you have that sort of thing. But everyone's kind of going through this right now, and we're going to see it here where a woman who, if you wanted to get Trump to do something, this ain't the way to do it. But we will tell you exactly how to do it depending on the personality type of the person you're dealing with. That's the ongoing thing. People have no concept of different personalities who respond to different methodologies differently. But we will clarify everything and it will be glorious. Take these first couple super chats. We've got a couple video clips to go through, so we'll be quick on the super chats here. Women cannot be bishops. For obviously they can, because this is a lady bishop. Although Trump is about to call her so-called bishop, so this is interesting. Why does this fake bishop ignore the evil done by cartels? We could talk about that. We could talk about what Trump's doing as well and what she's talking about. This fake bishop donated thousands to Democrats. Yeah. She's in the woke realm. In Islam, are there women sheikhs and imams? Why not? Well, if you found a kind of woke place, yeah, you could get one. And
Very
so,
few, very few. Very few, maybe one or two.
yeah, and so. Are there women imams? Yeah, you're not going to see them. They're going to be extremely rare, and they're going to be in a bit of danger from people who don't like going that route.
They're actually called shimams, not imams.
Yeah, shimams. That's funny. Did you come up with that, or?
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. So anyway, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Apu, Packer, Al Puff Daddy. Being woke and being wrong about certain things does not mean you're wrong about everything. So we will listen to her. Because keep in mind, you could be the opposite of anything that someone else likes, but you could still be right. So we'll go ahead and check this out and see if she is in fact correct.
So David, you heard it right here. David Wood is saying that you should listen to female bishops.
You should do anything any female bishops do, because female bishops are the best bishops. They're the strongest bishops, because women are super strong and based. So,
Beast.
She's a trans bishop. No. In Israel, people talking on why yesterday American citizenship terrorizer ordered pizza knowing he will die now and attack Islam perspective. Oh, talking about that guy, that Moroccan dude?
Did he order pizza?
He ordered pizza? I don't know, because he was hungry.
Maybe he wasn't sure. He's like, I really want to eat something before I die. I don't want to go stand before Allah and be hungry. You know?
Yeah. or is the claim that he ordered pizza like right before the attack, and it's like, what is he doing? The pizza's not even going to get to him. Yeah, I don't know. I would have to see what the actual situation is and what the actual evidence is for it, what people are saying. But we can always talk about that at some other point. Lily J's success is a reflection of Islamic gullibility and desperation. That is an ongoing issue. They are panicking and desperate over two main things. One, you have the weakness of the ummah. Islam is supposed to be on top and dominating, and instead their countries are weak, and they're basically begging for handouts from Western nations. So that's one issue. It's not supposed to be that way. We're all supposed to be subjugated to them. And two, they've got the avalanche of apostasy, which they're panicking about, and they're worried about Islam losing more people, and so they will cling to anyone. Completely serious here, ladies and gentlemen. We're totally serious when we say if you're a pretty girl and you go on and say things about Islam that are positive, you can actually get a huge following real quick. Guess what? Any grifter right now, and this is part of why Sneeko, Andrew Tate, these guys are grifters. This is why they jumped on the Islam bandwagon. It's part of the reason. You have a community that is desperate for any sort of confirmation right now, and they will rally around you. If you say all you have to do is lie and say there are all these great things about Islam.
You have to let a few things go, though. Like with Lily J, for example, she didn't just go on there and just started dressing properly and then talking about Islam. First off, she jumped on a trend of like, oh my gosh, did you know, and things like that, or being like, oh my god, oh, ChatGPT. So you have to open your mouth and you have to be very expressive. You have to put on things that kind of amplify your breasts a little bit. You possibly have to have a little bit of a background of, like, I don't know, have photos of yourself being at the beach or something like that. Once you have those things, You talk about Islam. Brilliant, brilliant, wonderful job. You will take off. You will take off, and you will not even remember us anymore at that point. You will be like, "Who are these peasants? I'm
Yes.
famous."
Don't care about these losers. I'm a trillionaire. If you do it well enough, you could surpass Elon Musk as the richest person on the planet. It could happen. It could happen. It could happen. All right. One more, and then we'll
This
jump
is
into this
so
video.
messed up. I'm looking at this right now. So the guy, there's a video footage of him, the terrorist in Tel Aviv. He goes to a pizzeria. Orders pizza slices from this obviously Jewish guy here and eats them. And they say he was right here. He ordered the pizza, he got it, and then he disappeared. And a few minutes later, people started running because of a terrorist attack. So he really stopped and had a bite of pizza, and then he started trying to kill people. Maybe he didn't like pizza. I don't know.
I'm more likely I want to have plenty of energy while destroying the Jews. I want to have plenty of energy. Let me get my favorite snack. Why is it that often when a discussion about the morality in Islam is had in media, only the Quran is mentioned and the hadiths are ignored? Yeah, you do have that where they'll ignore, like they'll say, "Oh, Islam doesn't teach this anywhere in the Quran." It's like, yeah, because the Quran tells you to obey Muhammad and it's in the hadith. Like, there are a couple of passages that people try to say are about killing apostates in the Quran. Those are not, even the ones that people have used, and even that Muslim scholars have used, they definitely are not clear. They are not clear commands to execute people for apostasy. It's like, if they turn away, it's like, okay, what does turn away mean? But in the hadith, you have very clear commands. And so what you'll have is, hey, this apostate is in danger on the media. And then it'll be, oh, but the Quran never commands this. Show me where the Quran commands this. And it's like, yeah, your prophet did. Dummies. What are you laughing at now? Why can't you go through 5 seconds of a show without laughing hysterically at something?
Because people start making fun of a very serious topic. Somebody said maybe they gave him pineapple on pizza.
Yeah. I'm like that too. Some people love it. And I'm like, put fruit on my freaking pizza, man. I don't care if it's pineapple or anything else. I don't want fruit on my pizza. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, one more, then we'll jump into this first video. Heard of Galaxy's Edge novel series? No. There is a race of donkey humanoid aliens that are galactic jihadis based on ISIS government calls people intolerant for pointing out that donkey culture is trash. That's messed up. That's very, very rude. But it reminds me of what we were just talking about. People told us, I think that was yesterday when they mentioned Iron Sky. So I looked up that movie, and it's about these Germans who, when they realized they were losing, they went and built a base on the moon and stayed there preparing for decades. And now they're coming back, but they're super powerful now with all this super advanced technology. So anyway,
yeah, think of pointing out a wing. So David doesn't like tomato on his pizza, obviously. Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. I count that as a vegetable. You could say fruit all day long. D. Wood doesn't care. That goes on salads. You don't sit there eating one as a delicious piece of fruit. And if you do, you're a loser. All right, let's go ahead and check out. Wait, what's this lady's name? One second. I'm not sure how to pronounce it exactly. Bishop Marianne Edgar. I don't know if it's Budde. Buddha. Booty. Bishop Booty. Oh my goodness, dude. Her last name is Budde. She would actually be, if you pronounced it the way it looks, Bishop Booty. So if you're planning on OnlyFans career and you want to go off into a religious grift, you could go with Bishop Booty. Anyway, Bishop Marianne Edgar, I don't know how that's pronounced. Bud, E could be silent, or Booty. We do not know. Let's check out what she's got.
Why did you want to come out here and send
Their
this
message? It is a message.
Oh, okay. So this is during the BLM protests. So this is, I don't know, 6 years ago? It was during the first Trump administration. So they asked her, why'd she want to come out here?
Why did you want to come out here and send
Their
this
message.
That's her in the
It is a message
pink.
of a call for justice, for swift justice for George Floyd, for systemic justice for all brown and black people who have been under the knee of this country in ways that we have witnessed time and again. This is wrong. And this rising up, this spontaneous uprising of people mostly half my age or younger, they're the ones we should be listening to.
And they're angry at the
And they're
president.
so angry.
They're
And they're-
angry at the president. So what is your message to President Trump today?
Well, he should. I've given up speaking to President Trump. We need to replace President Trump. We need leadership that will lead us in the ways that this country deserves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
So this is like 6 years ago. She says that at that time she had given up trying to talk to President Donald Trump, but now she's once again trying to talk to President Donald Trump. She's trying again. And she did it at the inaugural prayer. So people are asking why. I keep seeing this whenever the video pops up. Why did Trump go to a service with this woman? Why? Because you do the inaugural prayer, unless you have some specific church you want to do it, you do it at the National Cathedral. You do your inaugural prayer at the National Cathedral. And that's the lady at the National Cathedral. So that's why Trump and family and J.D. Vance as well all went to a service with her. But let's go ahead and check out. So 6 years ago, she had given up, but at some point she had a change of heart and she realized, hey, this would be a really, 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 really good opportunity to speak to President Donald Trump about the future of people in this country. So I think her little sermon was 14 minutes. I actually have the whole thing. I'm not opposed to just watching it real quick. Maybe we'll see what happens. But here's the relevant portion.
Why is this where they go
one
to?
final plea?
Wait, what? What'd you say?
Why is the National Cathedral where they go to? And why is this a tradition? Why is this a thing?
It's the National Cathedral. Which part of the National Cathedral wasn't clear?
Is that the law? Why are they going here?
I don't know. I think it's just tradition that unless there's some specific place you want to go to, then you go to the National Cathedral. Not always just for your inaugural prayer. At least I think. I don't know. But that's the only thing that made sense of why the entire crew there. So you see everyone. You see Vance, Trump, Melania. You see Trump's daughters behind there and so on. So
I find J.D. Vance's face during this whole thing is kind of funny. I watched this.
yeah.
He really finds this kind of funny.
Hey, why's your screen
Hey.
blank?
That's a good question. I don't know why.
You need to restart?
Yeah, probably.
All right, you restart. We'll watch this video without interruptions from you. Thank you. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we can all agree that agnosticism is silly. All right, here we go.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives.
What? I was totally on board with what she was saying. She's like, hey, there are gay, lesbian, trans kids, whatever, in communities across the country. Like, okay, you are correct about that. And they fear for their lives. Like, what do you mean? Did Trump sign an executive order saying that they're going to be executed or something? Is that what was in the executive order? That they'll be executed? Was it an executive execution order they're fearing for their lives. Here's the thing. I don't know what this lady means. As far as I can tell, it's illegal to go around killing gay people and so on. In fact, that would if you killed someone just for being gay, that would usually have the hate crime addition to the murder. So did that change? Did it somehow become legal to kill people? Or, and here's what I'm wondering, does she actually mean like when you say that, I always have a problem with the terminology, a trans man, let's say that's a biological woman who has transitioned to become a man, I think. If you were to say to a trans man who, that he's not actually a man and that he is actually a she biologically, and I'm going to stick with the she, I don't know if she actually means that that's like killing the person, that you've just killed the person. I don't know. Hey, yo, AP.
Yes.
Yo, you there?
Yes.
You didn't hear any of that, did you?
No.
Okay. So she started off by saying,
I
Mr.
had
President.
to go pee because I'm 6 months pregnant.
And yeah, as soon as you saw a woman preaching Christianity, he suddenly had to go pee.
Yeah.
So she was saying, Mr. President, there are people in the LGBTQ community who are in Democrat-controlled areas, Republican-controlled areas, and so on. It's like, okay, yes, that's true. That's true. And she said, and they're afraid for their lives. And then I was like, what do you mean? Like, he didn't sign an executive order saying that you could go around executing people. In fact, that's still illegal. And if you were doing it because someone is gay or something like that, that's still a hate crime generally, in addition to murder. So what in the world is she talking about? Wow, they're afraid for their lives. And what I was wondering is, and I don't know because she doesn't clarify, what I was wondering is, there are some people who say that if you do not affirm a person's pronouns, that you're killing that person. You're killing the true person, because that true person is a boy, let's say, and you're calling that person a girl. So you're effectively killing the boy. And I don't know what this woman is talking about. If she means they're actually scared of dying because they think that an executive order has been signed saying it's okay to go around killing them, or if they just mean, hey, we're not going to call you by your pronouns anymore, and that's basically the same as killing the real you. I don't know. She doesn't.
She also says gay, lesbian children and trans children. They don't necessarily change their names, so and there are probably just one or two of them around. But there's also the implication that people have been making forever, which is that that because of marginalization and
they'll talk about like people offing
and
things
like that, it will lead to people committing suicide or something like that. But yeah.
Thank you for saying the word, and now we will have the the note from YouTube later. This is a very serious issue. Here's how you call the prevention hotline. Thank you, YouTube, for your insightful thing.
Scared for their lives. So anyway, continue. Nothing.
Yeah, and that's actually probably what she means. That you have the idea that. And this is used as a manipulation tactics, right? It's like, if you do not affirm everything this person says, then this person will go off herself. Therefore, you must do it, because if you don't, then, and that's kind of weird, man. Like suppose you have someone who's anorexic, right? They're anorexic. Anorexic person can be 60 pounds and will still think that she's way too fat. And so she looks in a mirror and she sees, wow, I'm way too fat. You look at her and you go, my goodness, you are just bones with skin on it. Eat some food. So imagine someone says, hey, look, you have to agree with me that I'm too fat. And you say, what? No, you're too skinny. You're way too skinny. I don't want to tell you you're too fat. That's like, that's encouraging not just you. Then I'm saying it. Then I'm also sharing it with a message with the rest of the world saying, yes, this is what too fat looks like. And other people are going to be like, what, am I too fat too? And then everyone's going to, no, I don't want to do that. Well, too bad. If you don't, I'm going to go jump off a bridge. Okay. Well, my goodness, this is weird. Anyway, I would say To any gay, lesbian, trans people out there, do not base your decision on whether to off yourself on whether Trump or Vance or someone else is using your correct pronouns. That should not be a reason to off yourself. If you want certain pronouns and other people don't want to go along with it, guess what? You need to be the sort of person who says, I don't care if someone else uses my pronouns.
You know
And
what's
you're
funny?
good.
This is actually considered a form of abuse. Like it's considered an abusive relationship, for example, if somebody
I'll go
if one
off
person
myself if you don't do what I want.
if one person in a relationship says, if you don't stay with me, if you don't do this,
Honey,
if you don't do
honey,
that,
I'm leaving
I will
you.
hurt
Well, I'm
myself.
going to
I
go
will
jump
hurt
off a
myself.
bridge. Okay, I'll stay with you. Yeah, that's manipulation.
That's manipulation and is considered abusive. So to give in to that, it's kind of messed up. But if you want to go with that, I mean, I know that that people actually have ended their lives because they left Islam and they just felt completely ostracized and alone and threatened and so on. So therefore, I think we should also ban Islam from now on.
Mm-hmm. Good idea. Good idea. Good idea. All right, let's check out. So let me back this up a little bit. Here we go.
That's what they do.
There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families.
That's true.
Some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat.
It's pretty rude that she thinks as illegal immigrants as just people who clean offices and take care of chickens. People can do whatever they want in this country, lady. This is the United States of America. Don't say, oh, here's a job and only illegal immigrants do that job and that's the only job they can ever do. Come on, it's kind of racist, lady. You're saying, hey, if you've crossed the border, here are the only things you can do in life. Very, very racist, I would say.
Packing plants.
Meat packing plants.
Who wash the dishes
after
we
what
eat in restaurants
they can
and
wash
work
dishes.
the night shifts in hospitals.
Yeah, they work the night shifts. That's all they could do. It's all they could do in Lady Bishop land.
And those people who are of different skin color who pick our cotton, in our
You
field.
hear this? You hear what she's implying, ladies and gentlemen? Those people, those brownish people who bring us our food as we sit there like kings and queens. Come on. This is the most racist sermon anyone's ever given.
They may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes.
Are there statistics for that?
If she said not citizens, then here's the thing. If you have crossed the border illegally, you are a criminal in that sense. It's illegal to cross the border illegally, hence crossing the border illegally, and therefore you have committed a crime. What you would want to say is, hey, if someone did one technically illegal thing 10 years ago and they've been working and haven't gotten in any trouble and they've been working their job and so on, hey, I get it if you want to get rid of the drug dealers and stuff like that or something like that. But someone who just came there to make a little money, could we have compassion on that person? Right now, when you say, nope, they haven't committed any crimes, you're already wrong. You're already wrong. In other words, every person there just thought, what do you mean? What do you mean? If they're here illegally, then they have committed a crime. And so you just destroyed whatever point you were trying to make because now they're thinking about that, lady. What you should have said, hey, so they made a mistake at 10, as far as the law goes, they made a mistake 5 or 10 years ago. Hasn't anyone here made a mistake too, Mr. Trump? Huh? Hasn't anyone here done anything that could be considered illegal? Wouldn't it be great if we showed mercy? Something like that, right?
You sound like Charlie.
Like who?
Like Charlie from It's Always Sunny.
Oh, yeah, funny.
Taxes and our good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, Wadara, and temples.
Wait, mosques? So these are illegal Muslim border crossers?
Wow.
I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands.
Oh,
to
so
find
that's interesting. So now she's calling on bringing in more refugees from, you know what you're talking about. You're always talking about the Muslim world because it's always like jihadis killing other Muslims, and then the Muslims need a place to run and so on. So you say, hey, Western nations.
compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger,
Merciful to the
for
stranger.
we were all once strangers in this land. May God grant us the strength and courage
people are pointing out, yes, lots of Jewish immigrants. So she's talking about Jews who are here illegally and going to the synagogue. They cross the border illegally. Lots of Jews.
Yeah, there are so many of those Jewish refugees who are crossing the border and are afraid of being
they're
deported.
they're sneaking across the Mexican border. They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oy vey, I'm glad I'm here."
They're sneaking. They're crossing the border illegally and then going to yeshiva university.
And they're smuggling in their Talmuds. Their Talmuds specifically to enrage Candace Owens and Nick Fritos.
to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love.
Here's the thing. Look at this. Look at this. She's saying true things that, hey, it is good. You should respect the dignity of all human beings and so on. Let me back up a little bit here.
May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people,
People,
good of all people in this
but
nation
the people.
and the world.
There you have it. There you have it. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you what, guys. At the end there, right? Hey, you should respect the dignity of all human beings. Where is that? That's straight out the Bible. That people are created in the image of God. They have a certain built-in dignity to them that should be respected. What does that have to do with, oh, I have to use your preferred pronouns or something along those lines? 'Cause you have to make an additional argument that, hey, respecting the inherent dignity of a person means if that person crosses illegally into your country, you just say, okay, you're good to go. Well, just open borders, because we respect the dignity of all people. Anyone in any one of these war-torn zones right now, anyone in Syria, anyone in any of these places, matter of fact, all of Gaza, you just want to come over here, no problem. If you want to come, we respect your worth and dignity, and therefore, free pass, anything you want. You have to make some additional argumentation to say that that's how those passages should be interpreted. I would not think that those passages are, that's not how to interpret those passages. Let me read this passage from G.K. Chesterton. What?
Can I just say one thing quickly? So
You can say
it's
all you want.
It's very difficult to find information on how many of the illegal immigrants are engaged in criminal activities, but there is one piece of data from the government body here, which says that in 2018, in the fiscal year 2018, of the 69,425 cases of crimes, non-U.S. citizens accounted for 42.7% of all federal offenders, which would be a huge number compared to.
You'd say that's very disproportionate.
Extremely However, there is one caveat here, which is that it counts in immigration itself as one of the offenses. If immigration itself is removed, all other offenses, including drug trafficking, which is the second most popular, fraud, money laundering, firearms, etc., account for around 25% of those offenses of the non-US citizens. If you calculate it accordingly, you still have immigrants being disproportionate in offenses, so non-US citizens. That said, I can find no information at all on whether most illegal immigrants are peaceful and non-problematic or not.
Well, and you would find out over time. You would find out over time. So you have a couple of theories here, guys. You have the idea that, hey, if you're here illegally, we're kicking you out. If you want to come here legally, then come here legally. If you want to apply for asylum, you can do that. There are certain places you have to go to do that. You have to go to, a port city of entry or something like that. There are legal ways to do it. So there are some people who say, look, I don't care if you came here illegally 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, we're kicking you out. And then you have people who, look, if they've been here a while, they haven't done anything. They're probably not the criminal type. Leave those guys alone, even though they're here illegally and even though you have every legal right to throw them out. Just let some people slide, right? We understand. We can be forgiving. So this is the idea. But if you came here and you're committing crimes, you're getting locked up and so on. Nope. You're not welcome here. Not welcome here. And don't even bother applying later because we know that you're a criminal and so on. And then you have people who, nope, just let everyone stay. Like you have places like the UK, like you can be gang banging 12-year-old girls, graping them and so on. And they can catch you. And you could be an immigrant and they will not send you back because you'll just go, oh, I'll be mistreated when I go back. And they'll be, oh no, then we have to let you continue staying here and banging these little girls and so on. So you have these different ideas. And these are not easy decisions. You could make a case. I think the last one I mentioned is by far the most insane and stupid. But I think you can make a reasonable case saying, look, if you're here illegally, we're sending you back. If you want to come here legally, we're leaving that option open. And when you try to come here legally, we will take note of the fact that when you were here illegally, you did not commit any crimes. And so we would consider you a good person to bring into our country legally this time. I think you can make a good case for that. I also think, and this is probably the way I would do if I were in charge, I would probably say, okay, we're new rule right now, and all the illegal crossings stop right now. And so if you cross after right now, there's no questions asked, for sending you back. But if you've been here for a while, you haven't committed any crimes, you're working, paying taxes, all this stuff. Okay, depending on what you've done, we may let you slide if you've been a good, upstanding person. And if the only mistake you made was crossing illegally, maybe we'll let you go. Anyone who's committed crimes and so on, it's a different story. So anyway, you could make sane cases for various positions. But I wanted to talk about when she was talking about, she's quoting Bible passages about respecting the dignity of other people and so on, and caring about other people. We've talked about this quite frequently, but I pulled up the passage in Orthodoxy from G.K. Chesterton, where what she's doing is a perfect example of usually what happens when people abandon the foundation, God as a foundation. You end up with all these virtues that used to be connected. So wisdom is connected to justice, which is connected to mercy and so on. These are all connected. So when you're looking at someone, it's not just, hey, mercy. It's also, hey, I also have to take justice and I have to be wise. I have to take all these into consideration when making decisions. And when you wipe out the foundation, when you destroy the foundation, then what happens is these things are all hovering on their own. And then they end up as like an idol. And you'll have an entire community that rallies around one. And so they'll rally around mercy and compassion and so on. And tolerance, let's say. So that's actually a good one. So they'll rally around tolerance as a virtue. And then nothing else matters because that's their idol. Their idol is tolerance. Everything is decided, whether it's right or wrong, based on whether it's tolerant. Well, what if it's the dumbest thing anyone's ever done? Well, it doesn't matter because wisdom is off the board. What if What if it violates every other? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that it is in the service of tolerance. So you see this in places like the United Kingdoms with the grooming gangs and so on, that these guys are doing the most horrible, messed up stuff. And in the name of tolerance, you have to let them do it because you might hurt their feelings and hurt their feelings about their religion and so on if you don't. So everything is sacrificed on this altar of tolerance. And justice for the girls they don't care. They just don't care. So you have ideas like that. But then you notice justice could be your ideal. And then there's like no mercy. Right? Justice is all I care about. Justice is my idol. Then you want to crush everyone who's ever done anything wrong and you have no mercy for them. And so you end up just wanting to horribly punish, brutally, mercilessly punish everyone.
That's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. So let me read this passage from G.K. Chesterton here. This is Orthodoxy, published in 1908, so well over a century ago. He says, "The modern world is not evil. In some ways, the modern world is far too good. It is full of wild and wasted virtues." Wild and wasted virtues. When a religious scheme is shattered, as Christianity was shattered at the Reformation, it is not merely the vices that are let loose. It's interesting when he mentions the Reformation, when he says Christianity was shattered. What's he mean there? He means it broke. Now, it happened centuries before that where there was a break with between Catholics and Orthodox. But then you have the Reformation, and that breaks. That's the one he's focusing on. But he says it's shattered because, think about this. Before, Christians are like one... The people who were there in Germany and so on, they were one church. They're one church. Then they get broken into two. But here's the thing. Now that you're more than one thing, you've kind of set a pattern there. You've kind of set a pattern. When we disagree, we split. We're not going to remain one thing with a disagreement that we're going to continue arguing about. No, we are now two things. Because we have a disagreement. Okay, what happens when you have another disagreement? You're going to split again. So you have a Protestant church. We're the Protestants. Okay, what happens when we have a disagreement? We split into more churches. Okay, what happens when those have a disagreement? We split. You've set the pattern. And then you end up with 5,000 different denominations or so, let's say. And what you eventually get to, in theory, if you continue down this road, is each person is like his own church or her own church. Because guess what? I disagree with my wife on certain things. We have to be part of a different church, right? So each person is his own church. That's where it all leads if you keep going in that direction. So anyway, let me read that again. The modern world is not evil. In some ways, the modern world is far too good. It is full of wild and wasted virtues. When a religious scheme is shattered, as Christianity was shattered at the Reformation, it is not merely the vices that are let loose. You wipe out the foundation. You don't just get a bunch of vices. That's what lots of Christians think, that if you destroy Christianity, there's just going to be all this horrible immorality. That's not that Justin's saying. There's something else you need to worry about, and this other thing you should worry about may actually be worse because you can see the vice. There's other things that you're not going to see coming because they're actually going after something good, but in an insane way. So check this out. The vices are indeed let loose, and they wander and do damage. But the virtues are let loose also, and the virtues wander more wildly, and the virtues do more terrible damage. The modern world is full of the old Christian virtues gone mad. The virtues have gone mad because they have been isolated from each other and are wandering alone. Who is calling me? 1 second. It's public schools saying weather's bad. The modern world is full of the old Christian virtues gone mad. The virtues have gone mad because they have been isolated from each other and are wandering alone. Thus, some scientists care for truth, and their truth is pitiless. You can see this in the German doctors in World War II. Just completely.
You know what's funny?
What?
What you're just reading is basically what I said without ever reading any of this.
You never said anything.
several years ago.
Okay, here we have the new G.K. Chesterton, everyone. AP, he's right in front of us. Go ahead.
So why are you reading G.K. Chesterton when you could just read me?
Yeah.
Continue.
Why read a book when you could just read AP? So, thus, some scientists care for truth, and their truth is pitiless. Thus, some humanitarians only care for pity, and their pity, I am sorry to say, is often untruthful. So he's pointing out, hey, you separate truth from mercy or pity or something like that, you're going to get a complete pitiless truth. This is the sort of thing that we just talked about. The Germans showing up to hospitals for disabled children and sending them to the gas trucks and so on. And then dumping their bodies in a mass grave. Their argument does make sense. Hey, why preserve these genes when we could just preserve the best genes among us? Well, it's just you're sort of turning into a monster who's only focused on one thing and not focused on like compassion or anything else. But with that,
anyway, it's very uncomfortable.
That's true. That's true. Or you could focus so much in the direction of pity and compassion that you could actually destroy your own society, and for the sake of doing this, right? Like, oh, these poor Pakistani Muslims running. They don't know any better. They don't know that they shouldn't be gangbanging all these 12-year-old girls. Just have compassion on them. Don't send them back. Don't send them back. Like, are you insane? Are you absolutely insane? So, guys, so follow the reasoning here. Follow the reasoning here. He points out you wipe out a religious foundation. And people are worried. All the vices are going to run wild. The virtues are going to run wild because now they're not connected to each other and they're not grounded and they hover. They function like idols on their own, and they demand sacrifice, ladies and gentlemen. They demand sacrifice. And he connects this to, imagine a church splitting and then just continuing to split until it's all separate people and so on. You are no longer united. You've been shattered. Well, that's what happens with the virtues. They were all connected. They're all connected to one. You wiped it out and boom. And what's the result? You just kind of saw it. You just kind of saw it. So she's an example of this. With that said, some of the people who, I don't care what you did. If you came here, I don't care if you were brought here as a 2-year-old and you're 97 years old and all you've ever done is worked hard your entire life. We're sending you back. It's like, what? I was two when my parents, too bad you're here illegally, right? And it's like, there's no mercy. So you could go in all kinds of directions with this, ladies and gentlemen. But guess what? That's what you're seeing in our society right now. That's what you're seeing in our society is foundations being wiped out, different virtues being rallying points for different groups, and then the different groups hating each other because they have nothing in common anymore. Used to be, hey, you might be better. You might be a better example of someone who has this virtue than me, but we all agree on these virtues. We all agree on all of them. Then now it's okay. Here's our virtue and here's your virtue, and because you scream justice and we scream tolerance, that we're just mortal enemies in all of this. And as far as communication, this is what I mean. Check this out. This is Trump's response. So she had an opportunity. She had a captive audience. The new president, the new vice president, and their families are all coming to the National Cathedral for the inaugural prayer service. You have a captive audience. What do you do with it? Do you ask Donald Trump? And to be fair, she's pretty polite with it. She's not, I hate you, blah, blah, blah.
I hate you.
Did she do this in a way that has even the remote possibility of getting Trump to do what she wants?
No.
Not a bit. Not a bit. That's the other feature. People in all these groups end up doing what impresses their own group and not what might win someone across on the other side of the aisle over to your side. I'll give you an example here. I'm someone who believes that human beings are screwing up this planet. We're screwing up the environment. I said it. I think we should take steps to not screw up the environment so much.
Wow.
And so,
David is saying we should eradicate humanity.
yep. So I'm someone who I'm one of the people someone could get on their side as far as like, hey, let's take care of the environment or something like that. Who do the environmental activists get as their main representatives in the world, the champions of their position? Who do they get? They get the two people on the planet. There are 8 billion people on this planet. They somehow found the two people who are least likely on the entire planet to win any agreement from the other side. Like the two people who are most likely to drive people in the other direction and make people say, look, you know what? I would agree with you. We're messing up this planet. But if changing that means agreeing with you, I would rather burn this planet to the ground. And of course, they get Greta Thunberg and AOC, the two people on the planet out of 8 billion who are least likely to win anyone from the other side. But guess what? The people on their side love them. Why? Not because they're real champions of the environment, because they're as annoying as possible to the other side. That's what everything has become. We're going to annoy whoever we are. We want to annoy the crap out of people we disagree with, not convince them that they should listen to us or that we should work together. No, we annoy them as much as possible, and that's our goal. What? Did you want to say something?
But here's the problem, David.
There's no problem.
I agree with
You're
that.
the problem.
I agree with what you're saying, and I see that. I understand that, and I say the same thing as well. However, doesn't this go both ways? When we speak of the other side, the opposite side, it looks as though the opposite side is also vastly and generally represented by those who are least likely to win the other side over. It's because people like to put provocative, divisive people on the forefront.
Yeah, I'm not. Everyone's doing this, AB. Everyone's doing this. It's part of the reason. It's part of the reason that Trump gets put forward, right? There are people who like Trump. There are people like, hey, this guy has a business background. He's an outsider. There are people who've liked him all along and so on. There are people who really like what he wants to do. There are people who want a strong border. There are people, but there are also people just like, this is the guy that pisses off the other side. So that's our guy. This guy really annoys these people and makes them lose their minds. So I want that guy. There are people like that. So yes, everyone, but that's kind of the point. And you see, we've talked about Dawa guys transitioning into that. They're big on transitioning. The Dawa guys have transitioned to that. In that, we've talked about this many times, that Dawa used to be trying to convince unbelievers that Islam is true. Whereas now it's just impress the ummah. And what impresses the ummah? Me strong, yeah, you weakling, me strong. That's what impresses them. When that's repulsive. And what happens? Who is hijab winning over to their side? No one. He's making Islam more and more repulsive to everyone. All the Dawa guys are. But the more revolting it is and the more annoying they are, the more their community rallies around them. Yes, you're annoying everyone. Yes, you're insulting everyone. Yes, you're insulting all the kuffar. Ha ha, our champion. Really? What? Don't you actually want to win people to Islam? Shouldn't you be picking someone who would be better at that task? Instead, you go with the most offensive person imaginable. So anyway, the point here is,
this is why they should have people like us, for example, who are nice and reasonable and respectful.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Absolutely. So, on the issue of this lady, she had an opportunity to talk to Donald Trump. And keep in mind, there are times when you're like, I'm not interested in talking to this person. I think this person is evil. So you know what? I'm just going to call out this person for being evil. There are times you do that, like Islam. We are not interested in winning Islam over to our side. We do not like Islam. We despise Islam. We can understand some Muslims may not know enough, or they reinterpret passages, and so they might not be just horrible people and so on. And so we can actually get along with Muslims, individual Muslims, if they don't want to chop our heads off and things like that. As far as Islam, we have no desire to get along with Islam or the guys who want to chop our heads off and so on. We just so there can be people, and you're like, I'm not trying to build a bridge with this person here. She sounds like she's actually she wants Donald Trump to actually do what she wants. If you're talking to Donald Trump, is this the way to go about it? I'm going to go to the inaugural prayer service and basically call you out in front of everybody. Is that the way to get someone like Donald Trump to do anything you want? Or did you just tick him off, making him more unlikely to do anything?
You ticked him off. That's not what you do. That's not how you do it. This is not the right way.
Yeah. And we've got the proof right here, ladies and gentlemen. Look, we got the receipts. Is this what you call receipts?
See, this is the proof.
We got the receipts.
Yes, it is.
So this is from Donald J. Trump, who said, the so-called bishop, spoke at the National Prayer Service on Tuesday morning, was a radical left hard, lied, Trump hater. She hates me. Don't know why. I'm the greatest. She brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. Ungracious. She says she likes grace. And, I can't tell. She was nasty in tone, very, very nasty, and not compelling or smart. Very, very not smart. Very not. Some dumb would say. I don't want to say that because she's a so-called bishop. She failed to mention the large number of illegal migrants. There are lots of them. Millions, in fact. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets. They're here illegally. We want to protect the pets. That came into our country. And killed people. They did it. They killed the dogs, the cats, the people. Many were deposited from jails and mental institutions. Can you imagine that? They just go and they say, hey, who's schizophrenic here? Let's send them across the border to the United States. Let them deal with them. It is a giant crime wave that is taking place in the USA. Some say it's the biggest crime wave ever, thanks to Joe Biden and China. Apart from her inappropriate statements, the service was a very boring and uninspiring one. Not the kind of service that I would have. Nope, mine would not be boring, and it would be very, very inspiring. Hers, not so much. Boring and uninspiring. She's not very good at her job. Terrible, in fact. She basically did the same job as a bishop that Joe Biden did as president. They're both terrible at their jobs. When you think of Joe Biden, think of this lady bishop. She and her church owe the public an apology, and a huge apology. And I'll be waiting on the apology.
This is kind of weird, man. This text was lasted significantly longer than it first appeared.
Yeah, it's weird. You got to get the context. So,
yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
I have a question.
What? Ask. Everybody comes to the answer, man. What?
So there is a trend of within churches. I know that this is especially the case with certain social and progressive leaning, liberal leaning, specifically within the Protestant world, where many churches tend to have these these talks, these preachings that are very much about what's going on right now around us in society, and improving things, and social justice and things like that. I know that this is not necessarily a very historical thing, and that churches far in the past did not really have this kind of stuff, or didn't generally do this. They focused just more on being a Christian and more on theology, practices, and all that. I know that, for example, Orthodox churches don't engage in stuff like this at all. They don't talk about these social matters at all.
I think that's an Episcopalian church. And yeah, there is a big wing of Episcopalianism that
I know that
very woke. What people would call woke.
I know that the Episcopal Church is a very progressive one, even within the Anglican Communion. But is this common among in the Protestant world? Are preachings focused on social matters common like this?
to a reasonable extent. If something's happening, they might preach something on that. But the way this lady's doing it, like the woke social justice stuff, no, that's pretty rare. You can find plenty of places that do it, but you also have tens of thousands of churches and so on. So you can find churches like this and so on. But no, my experience is pretty rare. Like I would be surprised to see that walking into a church somewhere.
Beast. It's pretty ridiculous, man.
So what happened when she gave that message? Were all her fans very pleased with what she did? Mm-hmm. Yes, they love her. They love her for that. Yes, you did it. You spoke truth to power. Was anyone, I mean one single solitary person on Trump's side, swayed even slightly by what she said? No. So if you're presenting it in a way that and keep in mind, it's one thing to call someone out. If you think someone's evil and you just say, look, you're evil. She's actually appealing to him to do something. If you are appealing to someone to do something and you actually want them to do it, wouldn't you do it in the best way possible, in the way that is most likely to get that person to listen, and not the way that is least likely to get that person on your side?
No offense, but I just
Well,
I just went on the website of Episcopal Church, and it kind of feels like I'm on the website of a Californian university or something, like the diversity. We are all citizens in heaven. Equality. Let's have these all kinds of people of all different skin colors standing together, which never happens in a natural environment, but we made it happen somehow, and so on. It's kind of weird. So no offense to those who abide by this, but it's kind of weird. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So here's a woman. Again, people have no concept of how to talk to people with different personality types. Here's how she should have talked to Trump in a way that would give the slightest bit of hope that he might ever agree with her. What should she have done, AP? You're standing in front of Donald Trump. I don't know about you. I would have found ways to praise him, right? And if you think he's a monster, you might have to look hard, right? So you'd have to find something. And here's and we have a new president who has a lot of business experience, and we hope that he would use that great experience in helping the economy, right? Find things to praise him about. Until, guess what? If you did that, he would love you. He would love you. He wouldn't know anything about you, but he would love you after that because you praised him. And then after the service, well, that was one of the best sermons I've ever heard in my life. Possibly the greatest sermon I've ever heard. I mean, it was all about praising me. You're praising me. And here you are. Oh my goodness, what a great sermon. And then, matter of fact, if you were smart, you would do this like months down the road. You would just keep finding things to praise him about and so on. Then months down the road, Mr. President, could you do me one little thing? He works on loyalty. He operates on a loyalty system. If you have praised him and are loyal to him, he will do something for you. He'll do it. Someone could defend him on a show. A couple years later, he'll make you the ambassador to something. So
here's the thing. Look, there are lots of people who have criticized Donald Trump brutally in the past, and who later on became friends with him, and who later on, of course, it's very often it's kind of a transactional relationship that they're having. People joined his government now who were very critical of him in the past. They found some mutual benefits, mutual grounds, and so on. People who banned him from their platforms went to his inauguration. The billionaires suddenly they appear with him, shaking hands and smiling together, and so on. There are very, very simple ways to get to this guy, to get close to this guy. It would be very useful for a preacher man like her to stand there and to get on his level to know exactly how to talk to him instead of doing these exaggerations. But Mr. President, there are now gay, lesbian, and trans children who are afraid for their lives. Seriously? Are you seriously? Did you seriously think you were going to make an impact with that? There are ways in which you could go on the same level with this guy, to actually have a heartfelt connection to him. Because there is one thing, it's always difficult to admit to some guy that you see as very oppressive and evil and bad, which is probably how she views Donald Trump. For it is very difficult to be kind and relatable to such a person, but that's an even bigger struggle for her. So she should probably work on that. It's easy for her to be kind to those people that she feels are marginalized. It's much more difficult for somebody like her, to be kind and good and productive and relatable to the guy that she despises as oppressive and as the problem. But she is there to do a job, to do that, right? To connect to this guy and to convince him of different things. So maybe look, here it is, preacher man. I'm teaching you right now. I'm your teacher boy. Instead of trying to talk to Donald Trump like you're talking to your gay children, you should probably overcome your own self, cross your own boundaries, be even better than you are, and find the strength and the capability to connect to the very same guy who you think is an oppressor, but who you also want to change and appeal to. How great is that? How fantastic would that be? If you could make that happen, it's very easy for you to talk to kids. It would be much harder to connect to this guy. Why can't you make that happen? See, I'm your teacher boy.
And here, as soon as I mentioned, like, what could she say that President Trump might like? Say, he has a lot of business experience. That could help the economy. And then, instantly, Trump has a failed business experience. Poor old 12 million, ended up 20 million in the hole, just for his daddy to say him. Perfect example. You could say that. She could have said that right there. This guy's an idiot. Look at this. Look at all the charges against him. And if all you want to do is make sure the guy never does anything you want in your entire life, do that. If all you're trying to do is impress your group, do that. She is at least claiming that she's trying to get him to modify his position on something. Okay. What we're saying is, hey, Kai Thai, Sayarath, if you had the goal of trying to get Trump to agree with you, this is what you do. What a business loser you are. What a dope. Then you're his enemy. Then he's going to be significantly less likely. In fact, when he's signing a next executive order, what am I going to do about, I remember that lady. Oh, yeah, I hate her. I'm going to do the opposite of what. See, this is exactly what we're talking about. And so that's why you have things like this. So Sketch Therapy says, it was about virtue signal, not helping anyone. So yes, if you were trying to show your fans, I had Trump here at the National Cathedral and I called him out in front of everybody. Now everyone look at me, look how great I am. And you want to be a greater hero in your community. She nailed that. I said, if that's her goal, she crushed that. So if that's your goal, if you are not actually trying to get him to modify his stance on positions like LGBTQ stuff or whatever, if you're not trying to do that and you just wanted to impress your community, you nailed it. I have zero criticism. You did it perfectly. You did a perfect job, lady.
Good point.
If you were actually doing what you claimed you were trying to do, and I would expect you to tell the truth if you're a bishop, if you were actually trying to get him to agree with you, you did the worst possible job you could do. And it was very easy to figure out how it's easy to build bridges with a person with a big ego. It's easy. Just toss some praises, figure out something to praise him for. You'll have his ear, and that instantly makes him like you. And then later you come to him for help. And even in that, but you have all this power, and I'm just hoping you could just one little thing, and then go for a small little change. And then when he does that one little thing, then you, oh wow, it's so wow, I thank you for doing this, and so on.
Good point.
That's how you do it, but it's not how we get done. I have to say one more thing on all of this. All the people in the Lady Bishop's camp who are concerned about the trans boys and trans girls and so on. Lady Bishop, you guys did this to yourselves. Remember when I was talking about like the environment? And hey, I'm a guy you could have on your side, because I agree we're screwing up the environment. So if you had sane positions and sane ways of improving things, I'd be totally on board. Who do you get? You get the most unhinged, insane people on the planet to represent your position. Say, now do what we say. No, there's no scenario where I'm doing what you say, ever. Period. Greta, you're an idiot. All right? I'm not listening to you, ever. I'm never going to join you. I'm never going to be on your side. I can't stand you. So you have that. But here it's similar, right? If you said, hey, you have boys and girls, and it's a very tiny minority, but you have people who actually have body dysmorphia. They actually feel very uncomfortable in their own body. They feel like they have to be something else and so on. Okay, is that someone you should hate?
Yes.
No. Yeah, if you're AP, is that someone you should like hate? You have you feel like you're in the wrong body or something like that? Why would you ever, even if you believe it's a mental disorder? If you believe it's a mental disorder, do you hate someone for having a mental disorder? So I mean, I have antisocial personality disorder. It's like people don't hate me because of that, right? You understand? Okay, you're just born this way. So should you hate people like that? No. So if you said, hey, there are people who are different and they think different, and other people might hate them and want to hurt them. Should you protect them? Of course. They're human beings. They're human beings. They have human rights. Here in America, you have your rights as an American citizen and so on. You have the government needs to protect you. Other people should protect you. I'd be totally on board with that. But what do you actually do? Instead of just saying, okay, let's just make sure we're not hurting each other and so on, and people are treated fairly and so on, and that our rights are respected. What is it? It's like, no, we demand that biological boys race against biological girls in every sport. And that any boy who says, you know what, I'm a girl now, I get to go in the girls' locker room and the girls' bathroom. And this lady's talking about pity and compassion. Where's the pity and compassion towards the girls who say, I'm really, really uncomfortable with this guy who still has a penis over here in the locker room with me just because he says he's a girl, and then destroying us in every sport we play. I don't want that. I don't want that anymore. He says, shut up, bigot. Shut up, you Nazi. Shut up. Where'd your mercy go? Where'd your mercy and pity go, lady?
You racist.
So, and it's not just that. We need to have drag queen story hour. Everyone needs to bring your kids out. And if you don't bring your kids out, you're a monster. And you need to transition all these little 3 and 4 year olds. And if a 4-year-old goes to pre-K and says, I feel like a girl, and the parent says, well, maybe that's just a phase. Maybe we need to wait. The state's like, let's take this kid away so we can transition this kid. This parent is a bigot, and so on. It's like you start sounding like complete lunatics. And now, no, we don't want to be on your position. And then people see everything. And then, influencing the major media companies and the Hollywood production companies so that every new Disney movie has to have all this LGBTQ stuff in it. Because why? Because you have workers there, and all these companies have to hire trans people and so on to show how diverse they are. But then the trans people say, here's what you need to do in the movie. And if you don't, we're going to have a campaign against you. And so you have to put this in your movie for these 5-year-olds. So you have to do it. You have to do it. And so they do it because otherwise there'll be protesters outside. So they all do it. And now you're sitting there watching going, what? Why can't we watch a freaking movie without someone else's views being forced onto our kids? And then what do you have? Then you have people say, okay, we're not watching these Disney movies anymore. They're too messed up. And then Disney starts collapsing. So everything's getting destroyed. And then, of course, you've got the media and so on. You've got social media. And what happened until very, very recently, you called someone by the wrong pronoun or something, you get banned. What's happening? You're making enemies. Take the Babylon Bee. The Babylon Bee made a joke about the trans whatever who became like what? General or something like this. They made fun of that, and they were banned from Twitter. And that ticked off Elon. That was kind of that's where he started. It looks like he started toying with the idea. Should I buy this? It might have even been a joke at first. But then people were like, yes, please. And then the idea rolls around his head. Finally, he buys Twitter and then changes the policy and so on. But think, if you had not been demanding that people shut down anyone who disagrees with you and so on, you would not have made all those enemies. You basically made a ton of enemies, enough enemies that you're ticking off to where it's no longer in their minds, hey, should you respect the rights of a trans person? It's if a male inmate in a male prison who's in there for all sorts of violent crimes and even graping people says, hey, I'm a girl now. Can you put me in the women's prison? Yeah, they'll do it. They'll ship him over to the women's prison where he can sit there impregnating female inmates by graping them. And so it's not just, hey, respect our rights. They're afraid and so on. It's accept all of this stuff that sounds completely insane. And you guys did that. You did that. You turned everyone into your enemy. And so now, okay, you find out you make enough enemies, then all of a sudden those enemies get the ability to change things. And it's, oh, please help us, have compassion. You didn't show the slightest bit of compassion for the girl in that locker room who has to stand there with a biological male with his penis hanging out. You didn't show the slightest bit of compassion to her. Why should we do what you say? And so you kind of have to like figure out how to win people over to the basic point instead of trying to crush and humiliate and destroy them on everything.
You know what's the funniest thing nowadays? Gropers and Muslims creating fake accounts.
What'd you say? Gropers and who?
Gropers and Muslims pretending to creating fake accounts and pretending to be Jews or pretending to be Israelis and spam a bunch of really messed up stuff in the chat.
Oh yeah, is that the new thing?
Yeah,
would not surprise me.
Have to ban these people.
Got to ban the people. Where? On my page?
Yeah.
Oh, are you seeing them?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Ban them. You have.
Yeah, I'm banning them already.
Okay, good. Any groypers, unless it's someone here's my real principle. If it was a groyper here who actually wanted to have a conversation stuff and we wanted to actually have a conversation, that's one thing. If it's the people who come in and just try to distract from every discussion and turn it into a different direction about their groyper stuff, then yeah, no. Zero patience for that.
Zero tolerance at all. Yeah, so that's what they say. That's what they do.
That's what they say, and that's what they do. Anyway, guys, those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on this. Lady, if you are trying to actually get the president to soften on some issue, you went about it in a completely terrible, terrible way. You could have done it in a way where he's not going to be totally on board with you, but you could have gotten him a little bit closer and maybe on a specific policy, gotten some sympathy from him, gotten some sort of agreement. Now he's going to be even more ticked off at your position in the future. So dumb mistake. All right, let's take these super chats.
It's just such a weird thing. It's like it is a very, very strange thing to do, a very empty, a very it seems like there are no proper values at the foundation of somebody who actually uses something like a religious ceremony to in a divisive way, making it look like, oh, I'm just coming from a place of compassion and goodness and kindness with this voice here in which I want to tell you that I really hate you and I want to speak to you as if I'm speaking to God himself. And I really, really hate you. And I wish you would do something, because there are a lot of these people who are young and they're children and they're gay and lesbian and trans and who are scared right now because you, big bad guy, you are here to make their lives worse. Please, please do not do this. Please leave them alone. She obviously didn't come there to make a change. She obviously didn't come there to actually influence the conversation. She didn't come there to change Donald Trump. She didn't come there to make genuine requests and genuine demands from Donald Trump. She didn't come there to say, hey, Dear Mr. Donald Trump, I know exactly what you are about to do, but please hear me out and do not do it. She didn't come to do this. She came there for publicity. And as a result of which, if you now Google her name, and if you look up the news on everything that happened,
She was on
all you
CNN right
see
after that. She was on
all you
CNN right
see
after it.
is just divisive stuff. All you see is just people now attacking. It's like a news article. Donald Trump demands apology from Bishop for hurting his feelings. Things like that.
Which does what? That annoys him even
What
more.
they
Right?
it's just they are just here to they pretend that it is. And look, I understand from the last time. I think that everyone in politics just needs to calm down and stop being so spiteful, so annoying and divisive and all of that.
You won't
And
win. You won't win now if you're not divisive.
Donald Trump has aspects that make him very divisive and all that. But you complain about that, and then on the first day that this guy becomes president, and he comes back appearing quite reasonable, and the first thing that you do is just to attack this guy and to start insulting him and try to stir up controversy again and all that. It's such a ridiculous environment. It's like it's so childish, counterproductive, dishonest, ridiculous. That's what it is.
So
Preacher man, buddy, do better. You know better.
Yep.
Do better.
Yep, not a good job. Yep, not a good job. Really, not an exciting service.
You're a preacher man. You're a bishop. You should know better.
Should get back to work, says Bishop. Wear big boy pants to sit in big boy chair.
Powerful.
We got no comment there. Thanks for the super chat, though. Betty Born Again says, brief question for AP. I'm late to the Candace bad stuff. Why is she gay? She's not gay.
Why are you gay? That's a good question. Thank you.
The way that woman was talking made me think they were in Canada. Blech, makes me sick. The only way people like her kind is if she acts this way. Yeah, again,
Sick.
her camp, that's ideal. It's like, and guys, think about how insane this has become. Like, again, on the climate change. So you got Greta and you got AOC, like two of the most annoying people on the planet. Those are the people you get to be the champions of your position. What is it now? It's like going around throwing soup on paintings and so on. That's what the climate change movement is now. Throwing soup on paintings. Like, think, how many people on the planet have ever said, has there ever been one who said, you know what? I really didn't give a crap about the environment until that lady threw that can of soup on that Van Gogh painting. And then I was like, we need to save the earth. Has there ever been one person like that? Have you won one person on your side? Have you made the slightest bit of difference for the environment? No. What? But look at your own crowd. Yay! He threw soup on a painting. What a great man. And you get praised for it. What is this? Where did you get the idea that being as annoying as possible is the way to run your campaign? You just want to be as annoying as possible. That's good if you're trying to win your group to your side. And for anyone keeps wondering, well, who cares? She can blast him. She claims to be trying to win him to her side. That's what she said. If you were trying to do that, lady, terrible job, awful. If you wanted to win him to your side, there was a much better way. You could have actually done that. Again, he's not going to come fully to your side. If he liked your service and even wanted to come back more and more because he likes your service, you would have his ear. And you could get him to kind of soften on some issues over time.
Look at this.
Well,
she commented on it afterwards. People asked her about his response, him calling her a so-called bishop and so on, and demanding an apology. She said that she would not like to comment on it any further, and she said, "The country has been entrusted to you. This was to be meant as a message of unity and upholding human dignity," and says that she warns So she warned against America's culture of contempt and the harms of polarizing narratives. Okay, nice. Actually, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like that. But did she really contribute to getting rid of the polarizing culture of contempt, or did she rather cause it by being so insulting on the first day of the president?
Yeah. Hey, free Rebecca Goldberg. Quit spamming that over and over again, because it seems like you're a troll and not someone who cares at all about Rebecca Goldberg.
Ed Band.
You do that?
Yeah,
All right.
it was a troll account.
You brought this on yourself. Groiper posing as free Rebecca Goldberg. That's what you get. Did Clan Ace's baby approve of this prayer?
That's funny.
Yeah. Candace will listen to anyone, just not anyone Jewish. You need to make me a mod. Shukran Daoud Wood. I actually don't like tons of moderators.
Hey,
Well,
look at the link that I sent to you in the guest chat here.
where's guest chat?
It's right up there, man. On your system, right up there. And next to the comments, there's another chat section, guest chat.
I have
Did
no
you
such
find-
thing.
Terrible. Anyway, it's a post about Nick Fuentes.
Oh, yeah? Just read it for us.
It's just a photo of the day that he got into that fight. It's just a photo of a policeman approaching him at his house, and the caption just says, "Can't believe they are already rounding up Mexicans."
That's funny. That's funny. We gotta share that one. It's funny when you said when Nick Fuentes from that fight. I'm thinking, when did he get in a fight? I can't imagine him beating anyone in a fight. It's against the woman he ran up to and pepper sprayed in the face. Oh, that fight. That's the closest Nick Fuentes ever been to a fight. Pepper spraying a woman at his door. Oh boy. Wow. Fox McCloud says, was there a lot of trans people in prison with you? There were, I can think of 3 or 4 the whole time I was locked up. And they were prostitutes or someone's girlfriend in there. So, yes, they exist. They exist and they're highly valued. What's interesting is they tend to get parole faster than other people. And one of them told me once, the nickname was Peaches, and Peaches said, yeah, they'll give me parole, though. They always give me parole because they think I like it in here. Like, this person likes it in prison. Get out. You make great content. Bless you. Thank you, Stefan. We try. What annoys you? What annoys you is a Sunday for him. Get a backbone. Mm-hmm.
True.
Hey, wait a minute. I feel like I skipped over a bunch of super chats. How did that happen? I did skip a bunch. How did that happen? I accidentally scrolled through.
CNN and NBC are laying off hundreds of people.
What?
CNN and NBC announced that NBC announced that there will be hundreds of people will be gotten rid of due to viewership issues and finances. Interesting. I wonder why.
Interesting. Very interesting. Oh, I found out what I did. It was me when I was scrolling to find your special message, which is in some section that I can't find anywhere. Hey, David and AP, just a quick donation to thank you for the Islamophobia. God bless you both. It's what we do.
Thank
We
you.
are the kings. I have been called the biggest Islamophobe on the planet. So,
Thank you.
why, when you hear about immigrants behaving badly and ethnic minorities being naughty, it hardly ever involves East Asians, Chinese, Koreans. Also, no one marches for East Asians when they are victims of racism.
Well, there are of course cultural factors at play here, which is it is a direct refutation of the whole narrative that all cultures are equal and all people are equal essentially, and that if you just give them the same means and the same resources and access to whatever they can do, then everyone will just will just act totally the same way. It's of course complete nonsense. Some cultures are better than others. East Asian cultures happen to be cultures that are very, very not very prone to engaging in anti-social behavior, criminal behavior, and so on, whereas other cultures often are.
Hey, it's interesting because we just, for some reason, I mentioned Thomas Sowell yesterday. Remember that?
Yes, yes.
I don't remember.
Yes.
I don't remember what led to that, but we mentioned Thomas Sowell, and then afterwards, a Thomas Sowell video popped up in my feed, and I checked it out, and he was asked the question like, why did South America turn out so differently from North America in terms of economics and so on? And he pointed out, he said, we think of like people coming from Europe and then coming to the Americas and so on. He says, what you find is that people from one specific area tended to move to another specific area, right? So people from one specific area in Europe would move to an area in Pennsylvania. People from a specific area in Europe would move to a place in New York and so on, and so on, all the way into like South America and so on. People from specific areas are moving into other, but those people are basically setting the tone for for the future of the country in that area. And he said you had very different ideas about work. You had very different like work ethics in certain places in Europe. You had cultures where work is viewed as good. It's good for you. It's good. It's good to work hard. It's good for your soul. And you had other places that are like, no, work is bad. It's just something you have to do. It's something you have to do to survive and so on. And he says you have different people moving. You have different groups moving to different areas, and they basically influence the future of the country and so on. And then you have people from a different part of the world come in, and if that place, let's say, has a really awesome work ethic, then and they go to the new area, and it's like, whoa, people here seem really lazy by comparison. Or you get people who come from an area where they don't have a good work ethic. They come and they see, oh, people are working really hard there, and they'll try to take advantage of the system and so on. So anyway, you can have, it's basically different cultures have different work ethics. And that's not like a race thing. You can have very hardworking white people. You can have very lazy white people and so on. But in general, East Asians culturally are on the hardworking end of the spectrum. By the way, is that Lo Pan in your Lo Pan from Big Trouble in Little China? I can't tell in your picture. Lo Pan was based. Trump, cool story, bro. That's his reaction. Cool story, bro. That would have been funny if that was his response. Instead of like complaining and I can't believe it's the worst church service ever, bad church, should be demolished, I'll build a hotel here. Instead of being like that, it should have been, cool story, bro. And that's it. Why is this fascist doing a cosplay of a priest? Very rude, very rude. Respect, lady bishops. But the naughtiest minority want the most justice. But the naughtiest minority want the most justice. She's still a better human being than Trump. That could be the case. I don't know enough about her. She might be the nicest person in the world. All we're focusing on here is if she wanted someone to do something, is that the way to go about it? And no, that wasn't. May God grant us mercy, love, and compassion to be the people, because the people are super smart and base.
This is a funny thing. Statistically seen, like Western Europe is very nice for different things. Western people are generally very, which is also what kind of pisses me off when some people like this preacher man there, for example, say things like, and people of different color and black and brown people have suffered under the knees of this country and so on. Please stop. Please stop. The Western world is the best when it comes to the treatment of minorities, but when it comes to issues like the absence of crime, for example, and the presence of hikmah and things like that, East Asians are even better than Western Europeans. So there you go. You
Why
can
is
be jealous of
AP
the Western Europeans.
worshiping East Asians?
East Asians are statistically much less likely to engage in criminal activities just in their own countries, respectively.
Well, why don't you move there if you like them so much?
I think in all of the world, if you want to group humans and countries into rough groups of different cultural groups, East Asians are the best and most peaceful. Of course, you will not have many problems about them when they come in here. Compared to that with other populations, you will, of course. But let's not talk about that. That's pretty racist.
I'm going to ask you to read a little book called The Grape of Nanking, AP, and then tell me how awesome every single Asian on the planet is. Fun fact, only Pastor Lorenzo. Pastor Lorenzo rolling in a benzo. Only Pastor Lorenzo and Franklin Graham had the courage to invoke the name of Almighty God, Jesus Christ, across the inaugural events. Disappointed that Catholic clergy didn't. Ooh, so you see that, ladies and gentlemen? Protestants, based, and Catholics, not so much, according to this. But I didn't watch it.
Wait, what was this comment about? Had the courage to invoke the name of Almighty God, Jesus Christ, across the inaugural event. Disappointed.
I think they're saying the Catholics didn't want to talk about Jesus because they didn't want to offend the other people there, whereas Franklin Graham.
That's the funny thing. The Catholic guy, he didn't even do the thing like in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy. He didn't mention Jesus. I think he didn't do any of those things. It's kind of funny. Not based.
AP, can you play Shake Some as in your next video? Oh, Shake Some as. That's messed up. Y'all see AOC say, no, I didn't go to Trump's inauguration because she doesn't support rapists, but she supports Hamas, so she does support rapists.
That's funny. Did she say that?
Yeah, I actually replied to her tweet saying, I'm not going there. And I said, what if they were Hamas rapists? Did not get a response. You see? No, why? No, AOC is trying to destroy me. We should start this campaign that we make up where AOC is trying to destroy us and sending people to assassinate us, AP. It worked for hijab. Why wouldn't it work for us? D. Wood.
What they say?
What do they say?
I don't know. I thought you know what they say.
Oh, no, I don't know. Neither one of us knows anything they say. D. Wood, how are you still Protestant?
You see, what's wrong with you?
Because I'm not with all your priests praying to Mary.
That's the best thing, man.
Actually, see, here's the thing, guys. I've never been involved in like apologetics between groups like Catholics and Protestants and so on. So usually I don't even care and so on. I do have questions arise for certain people. It would be good one day to have like a sort of champion of Protestantism, a champion of Catholicism, a champion of Orthodoxy on here to where people can just ask their questions of each group. Like, hey, why this? Why that? Why this? Because there are questions like, and I'm sure like a Catholic apologist, if I asked the question, would have heard it 10,000 times, even though I've never asked the question. I've never followed the issue enough to see how you'd answer the question and so on. But I would have some questions. But yeah, maybe we'll do something like that sometime. Off topic about debating Alex. Jesus implies he is God by not saying what prophets say, the Lord says, saying, truly, truly, I say to you. So I guess people are trying to help me prepare for my debate with Alex next month at DebateCon.
David doesn't know how to do this debate, so people have to help him. That's what they think.
Hey, you know what I should do? You know what would be fun? If I just one day say, okay, guys, I'm about to debate so-and-so. Everyone give me the arguments I'm going to use. And then just use those arguments straight from the chat.
That'd be funny.
That would be awesome. The femme bishop was wearing Nazi colors. Was she? Ooh. Pretty
She's
big.
called Preacher Man.
Only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Why are the women pastors, bishops so cringe? They aren't all, but that one was. D-Wood and AP right here winning over Muslims by eating the Quran and using Allah butt plugs. By the way, D-Wood, be honest. What do you think about female priests? I have to say, I'm not.
Are you talking about this?
Yeah.
This is not a butt plug. This is home decor, which has the 99 names of Allah on it. Have some respect, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and definitely not MBS, as we pointed out. You can just blast someone. You can just be blasting someone who's like, I'm not trying to make you agree with me or something. She set out to win people to her side. There are certain movements where you're trying to win people who have a different position to help them reach some sort of compromise with you. Like, again, environmental activists and so on. You've got all these people, I don't care about the environment stuff. Hey, could we work together here to get a little something done? If that's your goal, you shouldn't be having like Greta Thunberg as your spokesman. It shouldn't, because that gives you a 0% chance of winning anyone over on the other side. Similar with what this lady did here. So no, me and AP are not trying to win Allah and Muhammad and the Dawah guys over to our side. We're trying to humiliate them, but even then, ladies and gentlemen, even then, there's something here because that is their love language, right? Aggression. That's their love language. So in a weird way, we're speaking their language, trying to get them to pay more attention to some issues. By the way, D Wood, be honest. What do you think about female priests? Well, you do have some Bible passages which seem to go against that. It's another example of an issue where, like, I'd have to say, okay, what are the responses from people who say it's fine and I don't know and I've never been terribly interested enough to look into it. Keep in mind, not saying it's not an important issue. I'm just saying, okay, I've got Islam, I've got atheism, I got issues that I deal with, and so.
See, David is saying a female preacher is totally okay.
Yes, and they'll be even better.
Totally okay.
They'll be even better because they have a woman's love.
If you go to a church and there's a man standing there, go to another church.
Hang on. We got to burn through these real quick because got about 2 or 3 minutes for I'm going live in a couple minutes with Robert for This Week in Jihad. So Hosea Gomez-Tien is secretly running the government.
True.
I don't know what that means. No AP, both Orthodox and Catholic Church homilies sometimes engage the culture and current events. So in your face, AP, you've been humiliated and destroyed. All you need to say is women preacher, and it summarizes things pretty well. Wrong. Stop being sexist. God bless you both. I really appreciate the knowledge and perspectives you both share. The humor is top-notch too. That's true. Get saved, AP. Just because Allah was false doesn't mean Yahweh is false. Ooh.
Not sure what you're talking about. Humor.
That's the title. That's the title of your book, AP. Just because Allah was false doesn't mean Yahweh is false. That's a man baby, like the great Austin Powers said. She'll be separated from her church by the state.
I personally still think that I mean, the Jesus and the apostles seem to also abide by the whole tradition of not pronouncing the name of God, right? So I feel like it's a kind of a good tradition.
Well, when they say Lord, that's the Greek. That's the Greek. So they could have been saying it in Aramaic. However, you're right. Even in Aramaic and Hebrew, it became common to say Lord instead of Yahweh because they were terrified of you taking the Lord's name in vain.
They say Adonai.
Yeah, even in the Shema, even though the Shema is given with Yahweh, they will say Adonai. Let's see. How dare you? Wait, no. Wait, what's he up to? Don't sheep.
Powerful.
The woman pastor should have told Trump about the parable of the leather strap of the anus to stop global warming. That's true. That would have been a better route to go. David Wood, B-1 bomber dropping truth bombs. That's what I do. Let's see. And then you make great content. Bless you. I think these are some of the ones I read earlier. Let's see. What annoys you is a Sunday for him get a backbone. Yeah. because the woman is totally out of order, loony lefty nonsense, can't see past her own BS. That's the other problem. Once you're in an echo chamber long enough, you think, hey, this is a great way to do things. And you step forward and do it. And you don't realize you're now incapable of making sense to other people. Maybe she's 2 Corinthians 11:14. No. Please don't make me a mod. German, not trustworthy. Yet can't trust Germans with that kind of power.
Good advice.
Catholics do the sign of the cross, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Yes, we know. Free Rebecca Goldberg. That's a good point. I was a devout MAGA member before that powerful sermon by that bishopess, but this Sunday I will attend an Episcopal service to learn about true love. That's what you need to do. That's the only way forward.
True love.
Hey, AP, the vid I recommended last night was just a blank post. I thought you'd like. The Hebrew was because YouTube wouldn't let me use the English title.
Oh, okay. I'll check it out.
If Germans scum because the past, those people super scum. We don't know which people.
True.
In 2018, John MacArthur did a series of sermons about social justice. It's still based. The gospel is not social justice. Ezekiel 18, 1 through 4. Yeah, guys, Christians have always advocated changes and so on in society. I mean, one of the things Christians did early on, they boycotted the gladiator contests and so on. And then once they actually got any power, they boycotted. They used to take slaves and make them gladiators and make them fight each other to death and so on. It was the best form of entertainment in the Roman Empire. And our earliest criticisms of Christianity was
Peace.
they refused to go to the gladiator contest, and so that's why you can't trust these guys. They're bad, and so on. So Christians have made changes, but yeah, you got to focus on the important things and not just on little identity politics. And so on.
Ain't trust the Christians.
Take this, Protestants. I'm praying a Hail Mary for all of you right now. You heard it here, folks. You heard it here. All right, everyone. I am on in 1 minute and 30 seconds. So I will be over on Robert Spencer's channel for This Week in Jihad in 1.5 minutes. Hope to see you over there. Hey, sorry about the abrupt ending, but got to jump on with...
Oh, yeah, I wanted to quickly talk about another thing. In fact, so I would say that we have been preparing this whole thing for a while now.